Okay, back to the center here. You can see the musketeers and the Opolcheni of the Russian army are still fighting my units in the center here. I've advanced forward some of my line infantry, reforming some lines there to face that battle. This fire they're getting on the side here. You can see these two units, these musketeers, and that other Russian unit formed somewhat of a V here. And getting some pretty murderous fire, especially on my right center there. So I'm going to have to spin them around and get some fire back on this unit. And see, I'm playing with the very large unit sizes. Most units are in the 400 to 500 range, which makes this battle truly epic. You can see how many bodies are on the battlefield there. More Russians than my troops. As they, took a lot of casualties right at that choke point. But at some point here, I am going to push my troops forward. I don't want the entire battle to be fought in this one little area. It wouldn't seem fair to my enemy to, just sit back and fight this kind of battle. So I am going to push my guys forward and get on the offensive and off the defensive and take the battle to my enemy. You can see there are some guys. Going down. You can see the drummer boy is steadily playing his drum there. It must be a tough job to play a drum while people are firing at you, to not be able to fire back. Can't imagine that. Okay, you can see I'm bringing my grenadiers here across this swampy marsh area. They're going to have to check themselves for leeches after the battle. And this is a musketeers unit advancing forward. Followed by, I believe, another musketeers unit, yes. And they're going to try to attack my guys while they're bogged down in that marsh. And when they see those two strong lines of grenadiers advancing forward, they hightail it in the other direction. And you can see I'm pulling forward some of my line infantry units here to face this musketeers unit in the center here. They did get, looks like, 2 of my units to rout there. Let's take a look at these guys firing here. Basic line infantry unit. Not a bad unit, but certainly not strong in comparison to other factions' basic line infantry units. But the actually Denmark and Russian armies, they match up pretty well. They're pretty comparable in a lot of areas. Denmark might be a little better at firing their weapons, but the Russians are a little bit of a better melee force. And the Russians have a stronger cavalry and stronger artillery. So it's a pretty interesting matchup. I might give this slight edge to the Russians, but overall, it's a pretty good matchup. So you can see my artillery is taking some shots at this routing musketeer unit, trying to do as much damage as possible. I cut about, let's say, 5 minutes off this battle here while my guys are advancing forward, and while the Russians are in retreat. They are going to retreat and reform towards the center of the battlefield here, and we're going to see some great fighting in the marsh here, which I'm looking forward to. You see I'm advancing my units forward there. I was advancing this unit down my extreme left around that lake, but then when I saw these other few Russian units coming down that way, I changed their direction to go meet that threat. And you're going to see I'm going to bring a group, a unit from my center to come and help with this battle on the side here, because I am outnumbered there. Okay, you can see my Lifeguards of Foot unit is advancing forward here along with my line infantry to meet those Russian units that are moving forward here. And you can see right there, that's my line infantry firing on some of these Russian Jaegers, which are moving forward. There's the rest of my army getting pushed forward. This is one of the toughest things with playing with a large army and large unit size, is really managing all these units. I mean, just moving an army forward can be a monumental task, and then engaging your enemy at the proper times is a challenge as well, as you need to advance your army and also engage, you know, when the time is right. So it's a tricky task, and you know, I'll get better at it as I get used to working with these very large units. But I definitely do prefer these large unit sizes. I mean, you can already feel how this battle is shaping up, and we still have a long way to go. We're only halfway through this battle, so there's a lot more great action to come. But there's one of my units routing. The Russians are bringing their musketeers unit in. You can see they got a unit on this wing of mine to rout. The Cossack cavalry rushed in and attacked my dragoons, and you can see a pretty awesome cavalry fight going on here. The very kind of ornate looking dragoons against the very, you know, simple kind of you know, regular looking Cossacks, and it's a pretty good fight. The Cossacks tried to advance out of there because they were losing that fight, but I did chase them down with my dragoons, and I'm going after them, and we'll keep that fight going on that wing. I'm going to bring another unit of light dragoons into this fight here. I kind of want to, you know, decimate that Cossack cavalry unit if I can, and just, you know, take control of my left flank here if at all possible. Okay, you can see one of my units routing there. There's my dragoons, and they're taking some fire, and that is a Jaeger unit right there, which is a skirmishing unit. So I am going to rush my dragoons into them and try and inflict some damage. You can see them taking fire from the side there, and there I go into those Jaegers. And I don't really like to use my cavalry this way, but I had nothing between the Jaegers and my cavalry right there, and they were, you know, taking some fire. So rather than running them out of there in the opposite direction, I decided to attack. I'm not much for retreating. I like to push forward when I can, so, you know, I'll take an aggressive stance before I'll take a see that unicorn gun firing on my units there. I'm finally in range of that unicorn gun. But yeah, I'd rather take an aggressive stance than you know, retreat backwards. But anyway, there's my grenadiers. That's that unit I'm pinching in to help on my left flank with some of those units over there. And you can see some of the artillery from my unicorn gun. And the one thing about the unicorn gun is it's massively powerful, but it's pretty inaccurate. Although that was a pretty accurate shot right there. You can see the damage that did to my grenadiers. Some of these guys falling down and other guys actually getting up. Shows how tough my grenadiers unit are, but those guys got to be a little woozy right now, but they're ready to go again, so we'll get them back in the battle. Okay, you can see there's another cannon shot. Let's see where that thing lands. That did a little bit of damage there. Fortunately, it struck above my head. Okay, so my dragoons are still fighting over here with these this Jaeger unit. In retrospect, I'm not too happy about this battle I got into. You know, my dragoons unit is now down to just about 1/3 strength, and I feel like I wasted them in fighting this Jaeger unit over here. But you know, it's a tough battle when you're fighting armies this large, and you do what you can do. You know, you could always look back and you know, fix some things or make some corrections, but in the end, it's all about winning the battle, right? So let's see how it goes here. I'm getting some nice fire here. You see me moving up my artillery units there. I'm getting some nice fire with my Norwegian ski troops and my grenadiers, and you can see my Norwegian ski troops are on slightly lower terrain from my grenadiers, so I didn't really have to worry about friendly fire there. And I remember setting that up at the time and feeling comfortable that the grenadiers were going to be shooting over the heads of the Norwegian ski troops. But take a look at them. They have very cool uniforms, the blue with the gold, very elite looking. Although they are, you know, basically a skirmishing unit. They're slightly below the grade of my sharpshooters in my army, which were also a skirmishing unit. Okay, you can see me advancing some line infantry forward, some grenadiers, another line infantry unit, some sharpshooters, and Let's take a look at this unicorn gun right here. A lifeguard horse, very elite looking unit there.
Our men are running, sir.
Let's take a look at this thing firing. And these guys are kind of in this depression over here. Really protected from artillery over here. I am going to move my artillery up later and try and get some shots on them, but considering where they're positioned, let's get a look at these. Let's follow these shots, and they fall harmlessly behind my troops. So again, that gun's not very accurate, but it is pretty scary.